Hi besties. Oh, this is a little tall for me. Hi besties. In today's video, I'm catching up on books that I failed to read in 2021 when they were popular. I do feel slightly left out. Everyone ate up books like The Deal or like the series Addicted Calloway, all these things, okay? This was a completely spontaneous video because I saw the Mindfuck series. Please ignore the covers. I saw the Mindfuck series on Kindle Unlimited. There's a whole backstory to this. My Amazon account got deleted. It deleted all the books that I had in my library, including my annotations. So I'm like, whatever, let's just refresh. Let's start from scratch. So I was going through Kindle Unlimited, seeing which books I actually wanted on my library right now. And I came across the Mindfuck series, and I never ever looked into it, but I know that it's very highly rated. I was kind of doing a little bit more research on it, just looking at the reviews and whatnot, and like, when I tell you, I've never seen a book this highly rated. Like, the line of 5 stars in comparison to 1 star is crazy. If you don't know what it's about, bare minimum information, moral of the story is you're following Lana, who is a serial killer, but she kills abusers and rapists. And then you're following Logan, who is an FBI agent working on plenty of cases, including hers. This is like very, like, you learn that super early in the book. I don't want to get any further into detail. I finished the first book, which is The Risk. I would actually prefer to rate the whole series as a whole, but it's not available on Kindle Unlimited, so each individual book is available for free. So I'm just going to read each individual book, which is actually better for me because 700 something pages is way more intimidating than 5 books that are 130 pages. Yeah, I'm done the first book. I rated it a 4 out of 5. I don't know. They're all intertwined so much. The only rating that's really going to matter is the end of the series, which I consider one full book. Literally, my jaw's on the floor. So a couple of things. You can tell that it's written in 2016. But other than that, I thought it was going to be way more dark romance. I've never read Butcher and Blackbird, but I figured something like that. I thought it was gonna be way smuttier, and it's actually not. It's kind of like an adult version of The Naturals. So I'm eating it up. It like genuinely feels like I'm watching an episode of Criminal Minds, but there's like, it's very romance heavy, even though it's not really romance heavy, but like the whole plot kind of revolves around, oh my god, I'm so stressed about like if and when these will collide, you know what I mean? Like FBI serial killer. I actually have no idea where this is gonna go, and I also like the fact that this is technically a series, but like the first book ends off on such a cliffhanger, and I haven't really read a series like that. I'm not a big series gal. It landed off on a part where I'm like, okay, I immediately need to start the next book, and I've never felt that in a book before, because I think the only series I've read were like, I read the first book in The Hunger Games, and then I've really only read like interconnected standalones. Yeah, so I'm not even showing you the cover. I can't. And I feel like this is a good start because it's technically 1 book, but it's also 5 books. Either way, I'm enjoying it, and I'm so excited to start the next book. I finished it last night super late, and I was gonna start the next book, but I'm like, no, I need to update you guys first. So yeah, I don't know what the second book is called, but the first one is The Risk. I'm just picturing it as the Mindfuck series, but the first one is The Risk, 4 out of 5 stars. We'll see what the second one's called, what it's about. I'm stressed. I'm on the edge of my seat. My jaw's on the floor. I'm having fun. I will say though, if you are interested in reading this, look up trigger warnings. It's very descriptive, gory, it's very adult. Do not read this if you are under a certain age. And it talks a lot about a lot of topics that are sensitive to people. So keep that in mind if you ever want to read this. But yeah, let's continue on. I'm 3 books in, and there's a perspective of a different person. Interesting. Very interesting. Hi besties. It's the next day. I literally read the second book in one sitting last night, past midnight. Way scarier than the other one. I still rated it 4 stars. I'm on chapter 4 of the 3rd book. I will say one thing. So at first I wasn't loving the romance. I was really only liking the FBI aspect. But now Logan and Lana, I wish there was more chemistry between them, which I really only think I could have gotten from reading romantic scenes, which I think would have taken away from the books in the past. I don't know, they obviously care for each other, but I don't feel that they care for each other because I haven't witnessed it, so I'm just kind of taking their word for it. I think the last book was a little smuttier than the first. There were definitely more spicy scenes. I tend to skip over them a little bit. Maybe they're not as bad as I'm expecting them to be, but it's very entertaining. I was not expecting this to be like a thriller, and it has gotten relatively scary. I'm gonna keep reading and I'll keep updating you. I'm constantly on the edge of my seat. I have no idea what's gonna happen, and I feel like that opinion won't change. So you might not see me until the end, but yeah. Hi besties, it's been a while since you've seen me. Don't mind my band-aid, I got a paper cut at work today. I started Paint It Red. I think this one is 170 pages. It's definitely the longest book. Based off the last book, I actually don't know where this is gonna go still. It doesn't give you any hints. Like the last book, something like major happened. I feel like it's definitely the big climax. Since it happened in the last book, what happens in this book? You know what I mean? I'm gonna go eat dinner and read this later, and then I'll update you on the whole series. It's going very well so far. And yeah. Hi besties. I finished Paint It All Red. I have a whole note in my notes app with a lot of thoughts that I need to tell you. Hopefully you can see me all right and I'm not making weird eye contact because I don't have my glasses on and I actually can't see a thing. We're going through a yap session right now, by the way. First of all, there was a romance in this book that I found extremely off-putting. I was shocked and giddy at first because the way that it came about was just like a silly scene, like it was meant to be humorous. It definitely worked because I was like, oh, okay, that's funny and cute. But then after that, it progressed very quickly. Next, Hadley is kind of insufferable in this book. Like at first she was like very headstrong, very opinionated, someone that I really respected and I was honestly kind of scared of. Out of nowhere, she kind of became very vulnerable and weak to an extreme, okay? I do think that the author just kind of moved all of her fierceness to Lisa's character, which is nice because of course it's all found family and trauma bonding, whatever, but I do wish Hadley happened to keep a little bit of her personality in that sense, because like she was just very, I would say like understanding and empathetic, but I don't really mean that as a compliment in this case because she is an FBI agent and she started off as someone who was so protective and headstrong and opinionated. So just out of nowhere, she just becomes this like super nice, empathetic girl. Okay, let me continue in a comfier location. It's not the cutest outfit, but I wanted to get more comfortable. This is like literally in the middle of me reading the 5th book. Looking back on the romance, the fact that Logan and Lana are 1, willing to die for each other, and 2, literally saying the other person is the only reason they're wanting to be alive, which I do understand the principle of Lana saying it, because after all the trauma she endured, it was hard for her to find love and all that type of stuff. But it's definitely still strange, especially coming from Logan, considering most of the entire series takes place in literally less than 6 months. Okay, now I have some stuff to say that includes spoilers. I'll put timestamp on the screen here to skip to if you don't want any spoilers, but I really just had to say it. So let's get into it. So overall, if you've read this book before, you know the whole book surrounds the idea of Logan being the FBI agent, Lana being the serial killer, and she's kind of like dancing around doing all these things while he has a blind eye and doesn't realize it's her. So the whole point of the book as a reader is like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen when Logan finds out? That is very exciting as a romance reader. However, due to the lack of chemistry, I really didn't care. So what I think would have made this book even more thrilling is to avoid the romance aspect. Obviously, like the romance aspect is still good and that's okay to have that. But I mean, I wish that they had Hadley or even Lisa as a bigger version of an antagonist, because I feel like Lana doesn't have any antagonists as a serial killer. She has plenty from Delaney Grove in general, but I wish there was someone who posed a threat to Lana letting her secret out. At first I thought it was going to be Hadley as a main antagonist, but then she like weirdly became very okay with everything Lana was doing. Like I kind of knew that deep down Logan and Lana were going to end up together, so that's why the stakes just weren't high enough for me to be on the edge of my seat. Okay, I'm actually running out of breath from talking so much, but I think if Lisa were to pose a threat, or just any other character were to pose a threat against Lana, then that would have taken over the plot line of her dying in a fire. So I understand why she went more of the romantic route. Lastly, the last spoiler type of thing that I have, I feel like after reading 5 whole books, I shouldn't feel so weird about Logan and Hadley literally up and quitting their FBI jobs just to be with 2 serial killers. I also said that if the first 4 books had more romance in it, it would have taken away. But even if even all the way in the beginning, when they were freshly dating, a lot of it was just them getting together at night, him leaving early because of a job and coming back, and then them sleeping together. So I feel like if there were even a few dates in there, some more jokes that made me laugh, that made me like him as a boyfriend and not just an FBI agent, I would have liked the romance better. And also if they experienced a hardship in their relationship. One of the main things he kept saying throughout the whole series, but mainly in the first book and the second book, is like, I can't believe how perfect you are, you don't seem real. And she would say the same thing. I'm like, okay, that just makes me not love the romance because it can't be too perfect. You know what I mean? Now that my huge rant is over, let's go over the ending and the whole series. So in the end, there was a plot twist that got me. It was one of those plot twists where you find out and you're kind of like ashamed because you look back at your thoughts while reading and you're like, oh my gosh, how did I not notice? Like I thought it was suspicious, but I didn't think anything of it at the time. And then now it's being revealed to me and I feel like a clown because I missed it. You know what I mean? So it was a very good twist. The overall ending, I honestly thought it was gonna go the opposite way. I don't really want to get into that because I don't want to tell you what happens, but the series as a whole is definitely getting like a 4 to 4.5 stars. I'm just gonna put it as 4 on Goodreads, but probably a 4.5. To me, it was a great series. Would I recommend it? No, because there's a lot of sensitive topics. I liked it. I don't think I'm turning into a dark romance girl anytime soon. This video is gonna be so long. However, we have another book to read. So I am actually a little torn because I posted on my story for my next video and I wanted my Bookstagram followers to pick my next read. I've never read a hockey romance and I've been wanting to read a hockey romance, so the deal sounded pretty good to me. I didn't know anything about Addicted to You, but I read the description today and it honestly just feels a little too heavy for just finishing the Mindfuck series. And then out of nowhere, I was looking up other books that were popular in 2021 and Cruel Prince came up. It is winning by a landslide. I read the description of that too, and that is just so far not up my alley. It's crazy. I'm not much of a fantasy reader. Yeah, I need to end this clip somewhere, so you'll see me tomorrow. Hi besties, it's the next day and I actually finished The Cruel Prince, which I was not expecting. I told you I read the description yesterday and it just is not up my alley. I'm not a fantasy reader. Even like the 30-ish pages that I read today, there were some things where I just like didn't know what it meant and I would either skip over it or I'd Google it. But I am liking it. A lot of people have said that it can get slow at times. It's a lot of plot building for the series to come, and honestly when I picked this up, I wasn't expecting to read the series by any means. I was just picking it up to pick it up. The only reason why I actually added it into my poll on Bookstagram yesterday was because I was looking up other 2021 BookTok books and this one came up and I happened to have a physical copy of it. So I woke up this morning wanting to grab a physical copy and this is the only one I had. I was fully expecting to read The Deal by Elle Kennedy because I've been kind of in the mood for like a sports romance. I've never really read a hockey romance and that's totally something that sounds like what I would like. But I picked this up and I'm giving it a chance. This is pretty intimidating for me. I'm gonna keep reading this and I'll keep you updated. Okay. Hi besties. Unfortunately, I've decided to DNF The Cruel Prince. There's nothing wrong with the book. I'm literally just in the mood for romance. And I found out that there's no romance in this, and also it's a lot of world building for the series that I don't even intend to complete. I just didn't understand why I was wasting my time on it. And also when I announced to my Bookstagram that I was DNFing this, every comment was saying that it wasn't their favorite fantasy book and they also couldn't get into it. So that definitely solidified my decision. But having that said, this video was very fun to me. I think I might make another one similar to this because I do want to read the books that I mentioned in this video, more Elle Kennedy and just the Addicted Calloway in general. But the Mindfuck series being 5 books definitely makes me feel like I still succeeded in this video despite DNFing The Cruel Prince. And yeah, I guess that's all I have to say. So thanks so much for watching this video and I hope to see you in the next one. I guess that's it.